This man puts Faletau at 6 because he's that good. And he has played man of the match performance after man of the match performance.
We've been touching on it for a few players now. We'll get on to kind of our final calls. Lions team's announced next Thursday, so we're going to throw out a few final bolters here. People that maybe haven't been put in kind of the headlines that will 100% go and basically are getting their kit ready. Gatlin, you got 4 medium hoodies, a small vest top, etc., etc. These boys, maybe if the squall comes out, they themselves are freaking out, being like, what is going on? And I feel there's a few, you usually get 1 or 2 per tour. You do get them. They always happen. So I've wrote down a few names. First one I want to throw out there is Jack Nowell. So he hadn't played since the the Premiership final. What was that, October? And he's just come back and played there at the weekend against Bristol. And people are talking about him being like, Gatlin had him in his 23 in the previous tour. Jack Nowell's the type of player that doesn't need a lot of game time. You can't throw him in. He's one of those rare players that you just throw him in and he steps up. I do like the idea of it. And with North now getting injured, ACL out, a little workhorse like Nowell is a good squad player to have. And the more I think about it, the more I'm talking myself into the idea. But it's just, does he have enough rugby in him?
Well, this is. I think it's an interesting debate because Gatlin does like him. You know, people the argument of, well, he was in the previous 23, like that's huge when you consider the back threes that were available to Gatlin. Jack Nowell's just like getting in there, like it's impressive. My only concern is this can go one or two ways. Jack Nowell needs game time. It's highly likely Exeter are at least making a semi-final of the Premiership, if not the final, because they showed at the weekend that they are the team to beat the Premiership. Yes, Bristol are flying and whatever, but Exeter are cracking side. So that's a positive in terms of Exeter get the whole way to the final, which is the same day as the Japan game, and Jack Nowell has enough game time and he goes, and Gatlin works in that assumption. However, there's always that element where players on the fringes they need more time being immersed in the squad. So there's no point bringing them if they're going to be in the Premiership final, and that's just too late. That's where I'm going. It's like either way, it's either positive or negative. For me, Louis Samet, I think all of a sudden
He's not a bolter. He's got his kit already. He's
no,
good.
I don't know. Like there is, I don't know.
I know. I said as well. He was one of those that he is a bit raw, but you're right. It's just his performance. You saying
seeing his finish again with Gloucester on the weekend was incredible. He was he's got that kind of factor that a lot of people are talking about with these world-class wingers now, where they are just, he gets the ball and you expect something to happen. Like something will happen when the man has the ball in his hand. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think, if anything, George North getting injured doesn't help Jack Nowell. I think it helps other 13s out there. If we'll get onto those later.
With regards to the Jack Nowell thing, in my opinion, and this is where it's hard to like speculate, I think Gatlin's made his decision, yes or no already. Like I think he made his decision a long time ago because I think it's risky. You know, I personally think he's not going to take him. And I think it's unfortunate for Jack Nowell because there's no doubt before his injury, he was fully involved in the England setup. He was playing really well for Exeter. Like you said, Gats likes him as well. So you could have seen him just being, a no doubter on the team sheet, which would have been crazy. But I think it's unfortunate for him. But just with the lack of game time he's had, he's not really going to have an opportunity now with the whole Japan overlap and everything else to really, really, really play at the top level. You know, they're not in the Champions Cup or anything like that. So I think that could be the difference maker, unfortunately, for Jack Nowell. But there's no doubt he's up there when he's, fully match fit, fully match sharpness, Jack Nowell. But it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's fair enough. I'm gonna have to agree with Harvey. It's unfortunate for Jack Nowell. I think he's a cracking player as well, very similar to George North. You're right, Telf. But yeah, I just don't think he.
Just industrious, not really similar in build, but industrious. But yeah. I think we're all on the right path here. Just maybe too early, but
we could be way off. It could be way off.
Wouldn't raise too many eyebrows. It's someone that people haven't really talked about. Just in terms of North getting injured, then we all had him in our squads on a podcast. You want to check it out. Who is then just the straight George North out? Who's in that you hadn't put in your squads? For me, I'm Henry Slade's now in. I know Henry Slade was on the fringes of my squad personally. I was even home with him and I went on form with North. So for me, that's Slade straight in. But I don't know, did you take Slade? I know, Harvey, you took Slade, so you're going to have to think of someone else. But it does open the door.
I'm just going to double check my squads here. I'm pretty sure I didn't take Johnny May. So
yeah, because I think you took George North as a winger.
Yes, I
whereas
took
me and
George
Telf
North
took
as
him
a
as a
winger.
centre.
Exactly. So I think Johnny May goes for me.
Yeah.
I think that's that's what I'm doing.
I think it means Farrell definitely goes as well now because definitely need an extra centre now.
No, I think in terms of a replacement for me, like obviously I had Henry Slade in my setup anyway, so for me, nothing massively changes. Trying to think off the top of my head any players that I would potentially be like. Stupidly, I didn't take Johnny Davis, so I'd probably just slot him in there because I didn't take Jonathan Davis. So it's a fairly easy, it's a get out clause for me, I guess you can say. But yeah, I think that'd be my replacement.
Yeah, there's no real. I don't think there's like a centre bolter. Cam Redpath, we spoke about him there.
Not a hope.
Cam Redpath and like Ollie Lawrence are the two that get a lot of hype, but I do think both of them are still just a little bit too early in their career.
Yeah, too premature. If anything, it would damage them, I think, if they went.
Cam Redpath, you never know if he had a full Six Nations. You never know, because if he played like he played against England, you never know. And I do think it's just too early for Ollie Lawrence. Like you know my opinion of him, and I just don't think he's at the level yet for England, let alone the Lions. So
there's someone I put in my squad, which I'm pretty sure you boys didn't put in, which is Keith Earls. Does Keith Earls
definitely go now?
Does he go?
Now that North's injured, is he 100%?
If we're assuming the swap is winger for winger, because there's a good shout. It's a shame if Munster were still in the European Cup, then it raises even more.
I know it's a bit stupid, but I don't think Stockdale now is that far off going as just a big George North type winger.
Really?
If you're going swap for swap and you want to bring in a big physical winger, it'll be Lowe or Stockdale. But if Gatland wants to go safe and not, which is Gatland, I think you're spot on. And I think Earls now really
goes.
I think Earls is sitting down in the Munster in the Munster kind of kitchen and getting his lunch ready. And now he's focusing. Like, when's the announcement on? Murray, do you know announcement's on? Have you told anything yet? He'll be like that because he'll think now that if he doesn't go, it's more of a surprise now than if he does go. Underhill is a one that we need to discuss now as well.
Yep.
None of us had Underhill in, really. I don't know, but
he wasn't fit when we made the tie, was he? And he's
been
out
he's
for a long
fit,
time.
he's back, he's chopping, and I could see it happening.
I could see in my squad. I could see Sam Underhill replacing Sam Simmons. I think it's a real possibility. Sam Underhill with international pedigree behind him. He is phenomenal. Like you could just see Underhill Curry.
The issue, I love Underhill. I absolutely love him. The Kamikaze brothers, they are just the boys. I could see them both starting for the Lions, and I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. Him and Tom Curry. But I think the one thing that's gonna like hurt Sam Underhill in a way is just how good Hamish Watson's been. With Hamish Watson having the time he has in the Six Nations, I think that's going to hurt him. But I could still see him going. Because I think Sam Underhill is world class. I think he's one of the best out there. But it depends on the dynamic he takes in the back row. Because obviously, if you're going to take a few hybrids and stuff, then you never know who's going to slot in and how many out and outers he actually wants.
So here's one for you, right? And this is linked with Sam Underhill because they play for the same club in the back row together. This man puts Faletau at 6 because he's that good. And he has played man of the match performance after man of the match performance. I've been watching Bath quite a bit recently, and he's decent. If we want to go back to the Bath Montpellier game, he is probably the difference. Zach Mercer.
Who's going to Montpellier? Funny.
Yeah, he's going to Montpellier because
he's giving up on his England career, but he'll take the Lions.
23. It's
I
ridiculous.
put him in the article I wrote because he really lost an absolute hidden gem there. And you're right, Falatoy's plays 6 because he's that good.
Like he
Um,
makes Falatau play out of position, who we've all nailed on as our starting Lions 8.
It's a great point, Zach. It's a really good point.
It's not. He doesn't get the recognition he deserves. He's also 23. If I read that article about him correctly, 23. Eddie Jones, what is wrong with you?
There's absolutely no doubt that Zach just is praying for a few men to go who Eddie hates. Who Eddie just doesn't like. He wants like 4 Englishmen that have just don't play for England.
If you want to talk about an Ugu Monye, I think I said that right. Type of player like an 09 where kind of play the odd England game and then all of a sudden he's on the Lions. I think Zach Mercer, if we want to talk about a candidate for that role, if the role even exists, who knows? But hypothetically, I think Zach Mercer is your guy for that, or Sam Simmons, obviously.
before you start drilling us in the comments, like we are looking out the box here. We're purposely trying to think of people, and Zach Mercer is a shout, Zach.
It is, and if you think we're stupid saying that Zach Mercer shouldn't go when you're clearly not watching the English Premiership because he's on fire every single week, man of the match performance every single week. Sorry, my rant is over.
Harvey, do you think it helps going back to Underhill? That he missed the Six Nations because he wasn't involved. He can say to Gatlin, lad, I'm not involved in that. I was not involved in that sinking ship. And when I was on the ship, we were on fire.
Yeah, we were World Cup finalists with the whole lot when he was
around.
around.
Blessing in disguise that he's missed England's worst Six Nations in a long time.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Could be. Honestly, it's not a bad shout. I doubt he's going to Gatlin and going, lad, don't associate me with England whatsoever. I'm nothing to do with them. I don't think he's saying that, but I do think he'll. Look, Sam Underhill speaks for himself. I do think he's only a bolter because of the injury problems he's had. Because in my opinion, if he doesn't have these injury issues, he is a dead set in the squad no matter what. He's that good. We talk about Will Connors being a chopper and stuff like this. Will Connors a potential bolter, but
yeah, true.
Like Sam Underhill's just got it all. And every time I say his name, I just think of that try, the disallowed try he scored against New Zealand. And it just makes me sad, but then also happy at the same time.
He's perfect as well for chopping those man mountains, your Etzebeths and all. He'll just chop all day.
He's just a big shark, isn't he? He just looks like a shark.
If we were looking like players who are going to work in a system to defeat the All Blacks, if we're not going on, the Springbok, if we're not going on form, I think Sam Underhill is a real shout. It's interesting, like the majority of our conversation has been spent on potential back rowers. There's just so much depth in the back row. It's insane.
Yeah. I'll move it then to another position that's highly contested. 10s. Marcus Smith. A lot of people have actually been calling. But if you're gonna,
he got a card. Everyone, we heard the rumors about Gatlin sending out 50 cards or whatever it is to people that were in and around the setup that he wanted to just go to that next level. Marcus Smith's getting a card, in my opinion. He got one.
Yeah. So what Harvey's on about there is Gatlin wrote a load of letters apparently and sent them out to people that are in the mix that maybe aren't.
That is what you call mind games, right there. That is mind games.
I rate that highly, actually. Okay. But one thing, I think, being just pragmatic, Gregor Townsend is the attack coach. Finn Russell is nailed on the plane just because it's Gregor Townsend, and especially how bad, if you want to talk about boys who don't have a good relationship as it is in terms of their relationship history, Gregor Townsend is dragging Finn Russell, saying to Gatlin, if you don't,
he's tucking him in the bag, isn't he? He's tucking him in the suitcase.
I think Russell, because of Gregor going, really is now in the mix.
I'll tell you one thing. See, in terms of starting, Dan Biggar, I'm calling it. I think Dan Biggar starts. Especially if Sexton's injured and stays injured.
Funnily enough, Zach, I said that a couple of days ago. I was thinking the exact same thing.
Honestly, he is world class 10, and the sort of 10 I want playing it. I'll take him or Sexton.
I've been hearing a lot of things that now North's injured. That makes the call for Gatlin that he's going to go Biggar 10, Farrell 12, Henshaw 13, and just play solid, industrious.
I can see that. I can see that.
physical, defensive minded, and then just bon voyage and get your big diffusers out wide.
I have another here. I've got another one for you. Also, I'm saying no to Marcus Smith, but Eddie Jones, wise up because he's quality. Also, Jacob Ramango is
Another
decent.
one that's too early. Just he's in that
He's too
Ollie
early.
Lawrence and
But like him and Cam Redpath could well be 10 and 12 for the Lions in 4 years.
get that
Also,
clipped and get that saved, Harvey, in the bank.
yes. You heard it here first. Cam Redpath.
Compilation
and,
of
Marcus
audacious
Smith.
clauses.
Yeah.
Audacious call. Ugh, what can't we speak? Audacious
Also,
calls.
No, this hinges on a question, which this is my lack of up to date rugby knowledge. I do apologize to any listeners out there if this is a stupid question. But is Manny Tuolangi injured?
Manny Tuolangi's come out and said that he's not putting. He's basically said, "I'm not thinking about him going to Lions, sir. I'm just focused on getting himself fit again." I think he's going to come back. He's back literally when the tour is going to start.
Oh, okay. Because Gats loves him. Like,
Nah, I think you can't take someone that's injured and then he's doing a bit of rehab and then he's back for the first test. He could,
with all the controversy that's gone on as well about the whole Premiership and not taking players. Imagine then just taking an injured player and just hoping he gets fit in time. Like it would be a bit.
But if you were to take anyone that was injured, you'd take
Manny
Tuolangi that would get fit on the tour. But
it's true.
Other one at Harlequins, which probably is a bit more realistic. Danny Kerr in form 9 in the Premiership, and they're struggling 4-9s. None of us could barely pick a third choice 9, like in terms of standout. And I think if you're going to actually go bolters, Danny Kerr isn't that stupid.
Willie Hines.
It's fair enough. It's totally like it's interesting. Like Gatlin. Yeah, it just depends if he does rely on that kind of international. But then again, international pedigree. Danny Kerr's played a lot of games for England.
That's what I mean. It's not like you're putting in an experienced Marcus Smith and it's just far too risky. Danny Kerr's been there, done that. He's in good form. Harlequins are flying. No nines are standing out. He's playing well in the Premiership. He's playing top quality rugby.
He has great crack.
He's going to be third choice. Well. He's going to be third choice 9, like. But do you just take away Danny Kerr? Also, apparently he likes a beer, so he'd be good in around the
Danny Kerr could be the squad man. You know, if we're thinking like dynamics just on the tour, especially this year with quarantines and bubbles and stuff. You know, you could easily see it Conor Murray, Gareth Davis, Danny Kerr instead of Ben Youngs. It could well be Conor Murray, Danny Kerr, someone. It's just so hard to tell with the 9s, isn't it? I think the only person nailed on is probably Conor Murray. And we said that in the pod.
Munster. 2 tries against Leinster last week.
Fire. Exactly. You know, so yeah. I mean,
we could go all day with bolters. I've got final 2 from Leinster. Okay. Kelleher and my man Keenan.
If he tags Keenan because
North's out.
Because North's out. Nah, surely not. Surely
takes Williams as a winger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm taking Williams as kind of that winger fullback anyway. Pretty sure to come off the bench, maybe. Nah, I don't know. Like, there's just so many other options out there. Like, for me, based on my squad, I'm taking Johnny May. He's proven he's a quality player. He's not.
Are these a bit more realistic?
Away.
Are these a bit more realistic?
They're honestly not out of.
It's not out of the equation, but it's just kind of like.
Who's more likely out of Keenan and Kelleher?
Kelleher, I would say.
Kelleher, just based on the fact that hookers is another thing where the third choice probably isn't nailed as.
And what about someone like a George Turner from Scotland, who probably is not getting the hype that he deserves?
Nah, no way.
Solid, one of Scotland's top performers. I know his lineouts were a bit off, but if you're going to take someone, if you take one that's not really that good at throwing lineouts, and he's going on a Lions tour to be a hooker to throw in the lineout, which I don't get why hookers can't throw, but Turner or Kelleher, like those, both them, I think maybe one of them could go if he doesn't go for a Count Dickie or George.
Yeah, it depends on whether or not if he's taking both or he's taking one. Then there's serious questions. But surely you're taking Rob Herring over Kelleher.
I don't know. Keller's about to play in the European Cup semi, like, and if he rips it up against La Rochelle, he
It's
was
true,
so
it's
good
true.
against Exeter. He was very good in a big game.
It's
If he
true.
does, if he does go, it's because of his performance against Exeter. I'm telling you that, and we'll get Gal on the pod, and he'll tell me that. Telford, you're right.
You got your Telfer, right?
Yeah. So no to both, Telf. No to both.
There are some great shouts though. There are some
Yeah,
really
yeah,
good,
there is.
great shouts.
And it is so obviously every 4 years it is just so tight. I mean, there's always one position or one like set of players which is always oversubscribed. Back rows are definitely that this year.
Any Scots we want to chuck in just so we don't, we're out
Really,
there for
mate.
you guys. We're
Well,
standing up for you guys.
Chris Harris is the classic. Now that North's injured.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Chris
North, for
Harris
the
is
comment.
Chris Everett. No, the Scots are going to be saying Chris Harris is dead set now that North's out.
To be fair, Chris Harris could go just because of Gregor Townsend, like, especially in bubbles and things like that. You need players,
I don't think Gregor has too much of a say, to be honest. I think Gatlin
think
gives
so?
Gregor his squad and says, work with this.
I
Gives
think
him the
the
attacking
pressure-
game plan and says, work with these players with this game plan.
Okay,
If it was Gregor's
well,
choice, Gregor would be the head coach. So, like, he's obviously going to have a say, but ultimately,
Yeah.
if he doesn't want to be there, Gatlin wouldn't have picked him. And if Gatlin's picked him and he just wants Scottish players there, then he's done the wrong decision. So,
yeah, it's true. It's true. It's definitely a possibility. It's definitely a possibility. But sure.
Right.
find
Final
out
to
in
wrap it up
Thursday.
then. All of us, someone that hasn't been in your squad that you're just going to say is a bolter, that no one that would be kind of a headline. Obviously, you don't think it's going to happen. That's the whole point of a bolter, like a Cam Redbath, a Marcus Smith, or I think Sam Underhill is not even a bolter anymore. I think he's thinking he might go, or a Keenan or a Keller, someone that's come from nowhere and really is outside the box. For me, you've heard it. I've said it countless times. I'm still sticking to my word. Hugo Keenan is getting that announcement next Thursday, and he is going.
Well, fair. I respect it. I respect the audacity. Are we not allowed to say Sam Underhill because he's not in my squad? I'm just going to say Sam Underhill because I don't really know anyone else.
I just don't want to. If you're listening, Sam, I don't want to say that you're a bolter because you're an international rugby player. You're top of your game, but yeah, well, I know what you mean. We'll give you that. I feel Underhill and Noel kind of in that same category.
maybe one that's like way out of left field, and please tell me to shut up right now. But Ellis Genge,
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not-
That's not. I don't think that's outside
Joe
the box.
Marler.
I like both of them are good shots. Just especially Marler's been with Gatlin before, and no, I'll give you that.
If you want a midweek crack, you don't get any better than Joe Marler. So
Yeah,
if that's
it's
what
true.
you want as a third choice prop,
It's true. It's true.
take the whole Harlequins veterans like.
yeah.
But no, so Genge, Underhill, and Keenan with Mahler as well. Now, I think we are spot on. There'll be one of these that go. We'll throw out a lot of names there, and one of those will stick, and we'll clip that up and say we called it right. Lions Bolter, we know our stuff. But thanks for dropping on again, boys, and cheers. And our next pod will
Cheers.
be the reaction to the Lions squad. So please stay tuned for that. We'll catch you next time. Cheers, boys.